Spring comes late in Minnesota. Dorothy Williams took a deep breath as she looked up at the blue sky, finally reflected in the puddles of melting snow. The responsibilities of being a real estate agent, a wife, and a mother constantly weighed on her shoulders. "Lily, hurry up. You'll be late for kindergarten," Dorothy called from the bottom of the stairs. From upstairs came the sound of tiny footsteps and the high-pitched voice of her 5-year-old daughter. "I'm coming. I'm just looking for the drawing I want to show Emma." Emma Collins, Lily's best friend, was someone who stirred complicated emotions in Dorothy. While she maintained a friendly relationship with Emma's mother, Samantha, on the surface, there was an indescribable tension between them. Dorothy sensed something behind Samantha's 2 perfect smiles. "Good morning, my loves," said Thomas as he appeared in the kitchen. Dorothy unconsciously straightened her back at the sound of her husband's voice. He was successful as an IT consultant and seemed like the ideal husband on the surface. But lately, there had been something off about his behavior. Checking emails, at odd hours, sudden business trips, and most of all, a subtle change in his attitude toward her. "Good morning," Dorothy answered with a smile. "What time will you be home today?" "I'll be late. The meeting with my client will probably run long," Thomas replied, taking a sip of his coffee. His eyes never quite met hers. "Daddy! Daddy!" Lily came running down the stairs and clung to Thomas's leg. Her chestnut hair looked just like her mother's, but her blue eyes were unmistakably inherited from her father. "Today I'm going to draw pictures with Emma." "That sounds fun." Thomas patted his daughter's head, but his hand pulled away a bit too quickly. "Well, I'm off." Dorothy stared at her husband's back as he left, suppressing the anxiety spreading in her chest. After 10 years of marriage, she was sensitive to even the slightest changes in her husband. Thomas was clearly hiding something lately. "Mama, let's go." Lily's voice interrupted her thoughts. "Yes, let's go in the car." Dorothy watched her daughter's innocent face in the rearview mirror. Lily was engrossed in the passing scenery, occasionally adding something to the paper she held. "Emma's mom is pretty," Lily suddenly said. "What?" Dorothy found herself asking. "Aunt Samantha. Daddy said so too." Dorothy's hands gripped the steering wheel tightly. "Oh, Daddy said that?" "Yes." "Did you know?" Lily asked. "Daddy and Aunt Samantha talk a lot. They have secret conversations just between them sometimes. A child's innocent words can become the sharpest of blades." Dorothy was about to say something when the kindergarten building came into view. Other parents' cars were already lined up in the parking lot, including Samantha's brand new SUV. "Good morning, Dorothy," Samantha waved as she got out of her car. "Good morning." Dorothy returned the smile, but it didn't reach her eyes. "Emma!" Lily jumped out of the car and ran toward the small blonde girl standing next to Samantha. The two immediately began whispering little secrets and giggling together. "Those two really get along well," Samantha said. "Oh, by the way, Thomas helped me the other day with my computer problems." "I see," Dorothy feigned calm. "He didn't mention it to me." "Oh, men never report the little things, do they?" Samantha laughed lightly, but her eyes weren't laughing. "Well, see you later." After kissing her daughter goodbye, Dorothy returned to her car. On her way to the office, she remembered a recent mail from the insurance company and noticed that Thomas had significantly increased his life insurance policy on her. He explained it was just preparation for the future. But why had he decided without consulting her? And why now? When she arrived at the office, her colleague Janet frowned at her. "Are you okay? You don't look well." "Yes, I'm just a bit tired," Dorothy answered. In reality, her mind was in turmoil. Her husband's changes, his relationship with Samantha, and the life insurance. Were these coincidences? Or... She shuddered. Even having such thoughts felt like betraying herself. But as a mother, she had a responsibility to protect Lily and as a wife, she had a right to know the truth. Today, she decided to go home early. She needed to check her husband's laptop. If she found nothing, she would laugh off her suspicions and apologize to Thomas. But if she found something, Dorothy pushed that thought away. At Fort Bay, Dorothy left work earlier than usual and went to pick up Lily from kindergarten. As the evening sunlight slanted down, her eyes searching for her daughter, she caught sight of an unusual expression on Lily's face. Instead of running excitedly to her mother as she usually did, today she approached with heavy, slow steps. "Lily, what's wrong?" Dorothy knelt down to meet her daughter at eye level. Lily looked up at her mother's face, but quickly lowered her gaze. Her eyes were a mix of anxiety and confusion. "It's okay? Did something happen?" Dorothy gently placed her hand on her daughter's shoulder. Lily bit her lip and hesitantly opened her mouth. "Mama, my friend said absolutely don't tell your mom." Dorothy's heart skipped a beat. Children's secrets are usually trivial things, but her daughter's serious expression was different. Something significant was happening. As they got into the car, she took a deep breath, trying to stay calm. "Tell me what the question was." Concise, careful not to put extra pressure on her, Dorothy chose her words carefully. Lily sat in the child's seat in the back, her small hands clutching the safety belt. "Emma told me." Lily's voice was trembling. "She said Emma's mom often talks to Daddy in videos. It's special talk, and no one should know about it." Dorothy's fingers gripped the steering wheel tightly. In her mind, Samantha's words from the morning echoed. "Thomas helped me with my computer problems. It could be just a child's misunderstanding." "Or did Emma say what kind of special talk?" Dorothy asked, checking her daughter's expression in the rearview mirror. Lily shook her head. "Emma doesn't know everything either. But she heard that Daddy and Emma's mom were making plans to go somewhere together." A dull pain shot through Dorothy's chest. Her worst fears were taking shape. An affair, or something even worse. "Lily, did you hear anything else?" Dorothy's voice was slightly trembling despite trying to appear calm. "Emma said there's a secret on Daddy's computer," Lily answered, staring out the window. "She said there's something written with Emma's mom's name and the word plan." The car stopped in front of the house. Dorothy removed the key and sat frozen for a moment. Various possibilities raced through her mind. It could just be a work plan, or maybe preparations for a surprise party. But deep down, she sensed a darker possibility. Once inside, Lily regained her usual energy and ran upstairs to her room. Dorothy stood still in the living room, staring at the study where her husband's laptop was. Should she check it now or wait for Thomas to return? "Mama!" Lily's voice echoed from upstairs. "Where's my snack?" "I'll bring it right up," Dorothy replied as she headed to the kitchen. As she cut an apple and poured milk, her thoughts drifted to the laptop in the study. After delivering the snack to Lily's room, Dorothy slowly descended the stairs. "I'm going to do some work, so play quietly, okay?" she told her daughter, before returning to the living room. The study door was half open. "Dorothy." She hesitated but steeled her resolve and entered. Thomas's laptop was on the desk, not powered on, but connected to the charger. She took a deep breath and pressed the power button. The startup sound echoed in the quiet room, and the login screen appeared. Password. Would she know Thomas's password? Their anniversary? No, he wouldn't use something so sentimental. His birthday? Worth a try. Her fingers trembled as she typed. Incorrect. Next, she tried a combination of his favorite baseball player's number and name. Wrong again. Dorothy began to feel sweat on her forehead. She needed to think calmly. What phrase had Thomas been using frequently lately? Then she remembered. Last month, Thomas had been saying, "Life is choice." He'd been repeating it like, a personal motto. She tried typing it in. The screen changed, and the desktop appeared. Success. Dorothy's heart pounded. The desktop was neatly organized with files and folders, business-related, family photos, financial documents. Everything seemed too normal, which made it feel unnatural. Dorothy moved the mouse to check the history of recently used files. There was an unfamiliar folder named Project S. When she clicked on it, a password request screen appeared. Dorothy racked her brain again. S for Samantha? She tried typing Samantha. Incorrect. Next, secret. Wrong again. Finally, she typed success. The folder opened. Inside were several documents and folders, one of which was named Final Plan. Dorothy's fingers trembled as she moved the mouse and double-clicked on that file. Mama, my friend said absolutely don't tell your mom. Lily's words echoed in her head. Tell me what's over there. Dorothy froze as she saw the contents on the screen. There was a detailed schedule, amounts of money, and, most terrifyingly, a section titled, How to Make It Look Like an Accident. Her name and the words life insurance were listed together. Her little daughter's innocent words had saved her. Life. When Lily's small hand pointed to the back of the living room, Dorothy didn't look away from the truth. With trembling hands, Dorothy took out her cell phone and dialed the emergency police number. 911. What's your emergency? Dorothy's voice trembled. I think my husband is trying to kill me. There was a moment of silence on the other end of the line. Can you tell me your address? We'll send officers right away. Dorothy gave her address and briefly explained the situation. After hanging up, she sat down on the sofa, the laptop screen still open. Her head was spinning, and she felt a tightness in her chest. Thomas, her husband and Lily's father, was planning to take her life, and Samantha was involved in the plan. From upstairs came the sound of Lily singing, an innocent, pure voice. Dorothy took a deep breath and stood up. She had to protect her daughter. This was no time to panic. 15 minutes later, the doorbell rang. Dorothy checked through the peephole and saw a female officer in uniform and a woman in plain clothes. When she opened the door, the plainclothes woman showed her police credentials. Mrs. Dorothy Williams, I'm Detective Jennifer Morrison. This is Patrol Control Officer Sanders. We received your call. Dorothy invited them in. Lily, could you come? Down for a minute, she called toward the stairs. When Lily came down the stairs, Dorothy tried to smile. Lily, these people are police officers. They need to talk to me for a bit. Could you play in your room? Officer Sanders will stay with you. Officer Sanders smiled kindly at Lily and asked, Do you like playing with dolls? Lily, fascinated by the officer's uniform, nodded. After watching the two go upstairs, Dorothy led Detective Jennifer to the living room. Please tell me why you believe your husband is trying to kill you, Jennifer said in a calm voice. Dorothy explained the events of the morning and finally pointed to the laptop screen. Look at this. Jennifer approached the laptop and reviewed the contents. Dorothy could see her expression gradually changing. This is a very detailed plan, she said. However, this alone may not be enough to get a warrant. There's no proof that your husband actually wrote this. But it's his computer, his account, Dorothy said desperately. I understand, but legally... Jennifer paused. Do you have any other evidence? Dorothy thought for a moment. The insurance documents. Last month, Thomas significantly increased my life insurance. I received a notification. She took out the documents from a shelf. There might be email exchanges with a woman named Samantha Collins. Jennifer nodded as she took notes. We'll investigate. First, I'd like to seize this laptop for forensic analysis. Of course, Dorothy answered without hesitation. Anything. Jennifer closed the laptop without shutting it down and placed it in an evidence bag. Now, Could you tell me more about Samantha Collins? Dorothy explained in detail about Samantha and Emma, and about her morning conversation with Lily. Jennifer occasionally asked questions and noted everything down. Mrs. Williams, I'll be honest with you, Jennifer said with a serious expression. With this circumstantial evidence, we can proceed with an investigation, but we need more definitive evidence for an arrest warrant. For now, we'll position a patrol car in this area for surveillance. But what if he comes home? Dorothy's voice was filled with fear. Don't worry, Jennifer said. I recommend you stay at a hotel tonight. The police will cover the cost. Spend the night in a safe place with your daughter. Jennifer stood up, but at that moment Dorothy's smartphone rang. Thomas's name was displayed on the screen. Answer it, Jennifer said in a low voice. Talk normally. Pretend you don't know anything. With trembling hands, Dorothy answered the phone. Hello? Dorothy, I can come home early today. Thomas's voice sounded surprisingly normal. I should be home around 7. Should we make something special for dinner? Dorothy felt her throat go dry. Why, yes, that sounds good. I'll think of something. See you later. Then Thomas hung up. Dorothy put down the phone with shaking hands. He says he'll be home at 7 hours. Jennifer checked her watch. It's 5:30. We have time. Sanders, she called toward the stairs. Officer Sanders came down the stairs with Lily, who was holding an origami crane. Look, Mama. Officer Sanders taught me origami. That's lovely. Dorothy forced a smile. Lily, you and I are going to ride in a police car to a special place. A police car? Lily's eyes sparkled with excitement. Yay! Officer Sanders turned to Dorothy. Can you pack a few things, enough for one night? Dorothy nodded and hurried upstairs. As she packed the minimum necessary clothing and Lily's favorite, stuffed animal, she looked out the window. The quiet residential neighborhood looked the same as always. No one knew what was happening in her home. When she came back downstairs with the luggage, Jennifer was waiting at the entrance. One more thing, Jennifer said. Besides the laptop, is there anything else that might serve as evidence? Your husband's smartphone, tablet, anything? Dorothy shook her head. No, he always carries them with him. But she paused. For a moment. There's a hidden safe in the bedroom. He made it without telling me. I found it by accident last month. Jennifer's eyes lit up. That's important information. Can you show me where it is? They went to the bedroom, and Dorothy pointed to a wall in the back of the closet. It's here. I found it accidentally while cleaning. Jennifer examined the closet and found the panel. Do you know how to open it? No, I've never tried. Jennifer used her police radio to call in headquarters, requesting an evidence collection team at the scene. Please expedite the warrant application. She turned to Dorothy. Now I'll escort you and your daughter to a hotel. Officer Sanders will go with you. I'll wait here for the evidence collection team. If the warrant is approved, we can investigate. This safe, too. What about Samantha? Dorothy asked. She's involved, too. Another team is monitoring her, Jennifer assured. We're keeping track of the Collins family's movements. Don't worry. Before getting into the patrol car, Dorothy looked back at her house. The home she thought was peaceful until this morning had now become a dangerous place that threatened her life. She took a deep breath and held Lily's small hand. Mama, where are we going? Lily asked. It's a little adventure, Lily. Dorothy hugged her daughter. We're staying at a hotel tonight. There might even be a pool. Yay! Lily cheered as the patrol car drove away. Dorothy gazed out the window. The twilight cityscape passed by her. Her life was about to change drastically, a strange mix of fear and relief. At least Lily was safe, and she herself had narrowly escaped danger. It all started with her daughter's innocent words. Mama, my friend said absolutely don't tell your mom. Those words had saved her life. After Lily fell asleep in the hotel room, Dorothy stood by the window, looking at the city lights shining in the darkness. Officer Sanders was keeping watch in the hallway, but she still couldn't feel at ease. Her smartphone rang, and Detective Jennifer's name appeared on the screen. "Mrs. Williams, there's been a development." Jennifer's voice was tense. "We found several important pieces of evidence in the hidden safe. Documents supporting your husband's plan and photos showing his relationship with Samantha Collins." Dorothy gasped. "Photos? What kind?" "They indicate an intimate relationship between them," Jennifer answered, choosing her words carefully. "Not only that, we found copies of your life insurance policy." And she hesitated for a moment. "A small amount of arsenic." Dorothy's knees weakened. She sat down on the edge of the bed. "Arsenic? He was planning to poison me?" "That's what it looks like from the email exchanges. It seems the plan was to mix it in your dinner tomorrow." Tomorrow? If Lily hadn't said anything, by this time tomorrow she might have been gone. Dorothy unconsciously looked at her sleeping daughter's face. Lily was sleeping with a peaceful expression. "What about the arrest warrant?" Dorothy asked. "It's been issued. Another team is heading to Samantha Collins's home. Your husband hasn't returned home yet, but we're ready to arrest him as soon as he does." "I understand," Dorothy answered in a tired voice. "And me? Please wait at the hotel a little longer. We'll let you know when everything is safe." After hanging up, Dorothy turned to the window again. In her mind, the 10 years of marriage with Thomas flashed by like a slideshow. Where did it go wrong? What had she missed? Deep in thought, Dorothy's smartphone rang again. This time it wasn't Jennifer, but Thomas. She froze for a moment, but quickly remembered Jennifer's instructions. "Talk normally. Pretend you don't know anything." "Hello?" Dorothy tried to steady her voice. "Dorothy, where are you?" Thomas's voice was a mix of urgency and anger. "I came home, but no one's there." "Oh, I'm sorry," Dorothy improvised. Lily suddenly got a stomachache. "I took her to the hospital." "Hospital? Which one?" "St. Mary's." Dorothy named a random hospital. "She's okay now, but they want to keep her under observation for the night." "I understand. I'm coming right now." Thomas's voice had an unusual tension. As soon as she hung up, Dorothy contacted Jennifer. "Thomas seems to have returned home. I told him I'm at St. Mary's Hospital." "Well done," Jennifer said. "He'll probably be there. Our team is standing by." An hour later, Dorothy's smartphone rang again. It was Jennifer. "Mrs. Williams, we've arrested Thomas Williams. He was at the hospital parking lot trying to enter." Dorothy sighed with relief. "What about Samantha?" "She's been arrested too. Both suspects are currently being interrogated." Relief and exhaustion washed over her, and Dorothy broke down in tears. The long nightmare was finally over. The next morning, while Lily was eating breakfast, Dorothy met with Jennifer at the police station in a small conference room. She was shown the confessions of Thomas and Samantha. "They've started blaming each other," Jennifer explained. "Samantha claims it was all Thomas's plan, and Thomas says he was instigated by Samantha." "And the truth?" Dorothy asked quietly. "It's both." Jennifer opened a folder. "Thomas's motive was financial. The plan was to collect your life insurance money and start a new life with Samantha. Meanwhile, Samantha had another motive as well." "What do you mean?" "Samantha's husband, Robert Collins. He's talking to us too. Samantha claims she suffered psychological abuse, but there's evidence she was actually targeting Robert's life insurance." "No way." "Yes, and even worse. It seems they were planning to kill each other after eliminating their respective partners to have the insurance money all to themselves." Dorothy shuddered. "They calculated that far?" "Unfortunately, yes." Jennifer closed the documents. "There's good news, too. There's enough evidence, and both will be charged with serious crimes. You and your daughter, as well as Robert and Emma, are safe." Dorothy looked up. "How is Emma?" Robert has taken her in. He understands the situation and is focused on protecting his daughter. Before leaving the police station, Dorothy was granted permission to see Thomas through the detention center monitor. Her former husband sat on a bench in the cell with an exhausted expression. He was unaware of the surveillance camera, and Dorothy quietly observed him. Had this man ever loved her, or had he been using her from the beginning? "Mrs. Dorothy Williams," a voice came from the hallway. Turning around, she saw a tall man standing there. "I'm Robert Collins." "Mr. Collins." Dorothy was at a loss for words. "We didn't know," he said quietly, "about their plan. If Emma hadn't spoken up, if Lily hadn't told me, I would have—" Dorothy swallowed her words. The two looked into each other's eyes, and a moment of understanding arose, a silent solidarity between two people sharing the same pain. "Emma wants to see Lily," Robert said. "If that's okay?" "Of course," Dorothy nodded. "The children are innocent. We can't let this destroy their friendship." In the car returning to the hotel, Dorothy gazed at the scenery outside the window. Just a few days ago, her life had seemed perfect. Everything had changed. But she had Lily, and there was a new beginning. As she entered the hotel lobby, she saw Lily folding origami with a police officer. Dorothy smiled. She was amazed by the strength and resilience of children. "Mama!" Lily noticed her and ran over. "I folded 100 paper cranes." "That's wonderful." Dorothy hugged her daughter. "Lily, you're such a brave girl. You saved Mama." "What do you mean?" Lily tilted her head. "I'll tell you someday, but today—" Dorothy looked into her daughter's eyes. "Would you like to see Emma?" Lily's face lit up. "Yes, I want to see her." Dorothy took out her smartphone and contacted Robert. 1 year later, autumn in Minnesota, the season when the leaves turn beautifully, colorful. Dorothy was looking out the window of her new house, smaller than the previous one, but a warm home, a place for a new beginning for her and Lily. "Mama, Emma's coming soon." Lily was running around the room in excitement. Now 6 years old, her daughter had overcome the past events and grown remarkably strong. Regular counseling had been effective, and Lily had gradually regained her smile. "I know. Are you ready?" Dorothy answered with a smile. Robert and Emma had begun visiting them twice a month. At first, there was awkwardness. But the two adults, having experienced the same pain, chose to cooperate for the children's sake. Over time, that relationship changed from mere cooperation to a friendship where they supported each other. The doorbell rang, and when Lily rushed to open it, Emma was standing there with a big smile. The two girls hugged and immediately ran, up to Lily's room. Robert stood at the door, looking at Dorothy with a warm smile. "Would you like some coffee?" Dorothy invited him in. "Thank you." While brewing coffee in the kitchen, they talked about the children's school lives and recent events. The trial had ended 6 months ago, and both Thomas and Samantha were sentenced to long prison terms. "How is Emma doing?" Dorothy asked. "Getting better," Robert answered. "The nightmares are becoming less frequent." "And Lily?" Dorothy asked. "She's the same. Children's adaptability is truly amazing." The two watched the children playing in the Jacher garden through the window. Emma and Lily were collecting autumn leaves into a pile and jumping into them, laughing together. "Hey," Robert put down his cup. "This weekend is Emma's birthday. I'm planning a small party. Would you two like to come?" Dorothy smiled. "We'd love to." That evening, after Emma and Robert had left, Lily sat next to Dorothy and said in a small voice, "Mama, can I have a secret?" Dorothy tensed for a moment, but calmed herself when she saw her daughter's innocent expression. "What kind of secret?" "Only good secrets." "Okay. Uncle Robert is planning a surprise party for you." Lily giggled. "For your birthday next month." Dorothy smiled with relief. "That's a nice secret." At night, after putting Lily to bed, Dorothy went out on the terrace and looked up at the starry sky. Life is unpredictable. A year ago, she thought she had a perfect family. It collapsed in an instant. But from those ruins, new possibilities emerged. In a distant prison, Thomas Williams was reading a letter in his cell. The sender was a woman's, name he didn't recognize. It was a letter requesting a visit. Thomas smiled. Someone was waiting for him outside the prison, and once again, his heart began to fill with plans.